welcome to Mod Pod with Fukunaga, a podcast that celebrates the strength and pulse of the luxury market. And now, here's your host, Vanessa Fukunaga.
Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Mod Pod with Fukunaga. And today's special guest star is Rodrigo Esponda, who is our Managing Director of the Los Cabos Tourism Board. So welcome.
Hello, Vanessa. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here and chat with you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me today. I was just telling you earlier, I feel like it's been forever since we've seen each other, even though we've been on Zoom calls. And some of the last Zoom calls that we've had to be on are because of the pandemic, obviously, and you really helped us and our companies through that. So I'm very, very appreciative of that and giving us always up-to-date information, what's happening, what the numbers are. Tell me, in your opinion, what's happening today in Los Cabos?
Well, we are in a super fortunate position in Los Cabos today. We have received more travelers this summer than what we did in 2019.
Wow.
And if you would see around the world, there would be very little or a handful of destinations that would be in this position. In the context of COVID-19, we have received more international visitors than 2019, that it was a record number.
Yay, that's so good to hear. What do you attribute to that? I have my own thoughts, but what do you think?
Well, I think it's a collaboration and the hard job of everyone that works in tourism to provide the best scenario, the highest level of safety in the protocols, to work very hard to make sure that the community would participate in the vaccination campaigns that have been, as you know, the adult population in Los Cabos has a very high rate of vaccination. The youngest, from 18 to 30, they had the highest participation in terms of age brackets in the destination. So all that is been helping. The protocols, the vaccination and testing is been providing a way of having tourists in a safe environment.
And it's so easy to get tested. I mean, literally, we can make a phone call in 2 minutes, have a nurse come, or you can go somewhere. I think that our setup, I'm really, really pleased with how I think the tourism board and I think the government has really handled, quite frankly, the pandemic for at least me as a business owner.
I think one thing that we have in Los Cabos that works fine is the private-public collaboration.
Yes.
That model where the private sector is working hand in hand with the authorities to make sure that if it's safety, COVID, promotion, or the experience overall of the tourist is the best.
Now, you've been the acting director of the Los Cabos Tourism Board for 5 years. And before that, 15 years as the director of tourism for all of Mexico. Is that true?
Yeah, I worked 16 years at the Mexico Tourism Board in the United States and Canada, and I've been very fortunate to be here the last 5 in this paradise that is Los Cabos.
And how did you change over to Los Cabos?
Well, that's an interesting story. You know, I started very young working previously in Fonatur. I worked at Fonatur almost 3 years. They created the Mexico Tourism Board, and I wanted to go out. So I went to New York, Chicago, Toronto, and then back to New York. And after 16 years, I had started from being the assistant to being the director for all the US and Canada. And I had, let's say, get to the point where I was not learning and I wanted to change. So I came up with the minister and I told him that I wanted to step down. Like nothing, there was nothing against or nothing bad. It was I was looking for another challenge, for a way to get out of my comfort zone and learn. And then he, you know, at the beginning said, let me think about it. You will get somebody to replace me. So then at some point they told me, okay, if you want to leave, leave. And I left the job with nothing, not knowing what to do the following day. And very funny, I wake up in the morning and said, like, for the first time in like 20 years, I don't have a job.
Oh my gosh.
And that morning I got a phone call, and it was from the private sector in Los Cabos that they find out, and they wanted me to come down for an interview. And that's how I got here. So I was one day without a job.
Oh my gosh. Well, you're very fortunate. Your
I'm very
reputation
fortunate.
must have preceded you if they're inviting you to come after one day. And so you interviewed, and where were you living before you lived in Cabo then?
I was living in New York.
In New York doing that. Okay. And how was it with your wife and kids to move here? Or did they stay in Canada, or how did that whole thing work?
Well, they are in Canada. My wife is Canadian and has a good job. And then the kids are also, teenagers already, and they have schools and friends, and so then they stay there. And in any way, I have to travel. If they would be here, I would be traveling.
Yep.
And so we thought that it was a better option for them to stay, more stable option to stay there. And I come and go as much as I can. Sometimes I can go for a weekend, or sometimes for a week. It depends. Or they can come down in the summertime.
That's not a bad gig when their dad lives in Cabo.
Exactly, and especially with the winters that you have in Canada, so then
Yes.
they can come down and enjoy the Sea of Cortez and the wonderful things that we have.
Now, tell me what, in your eyes, I always like to see Cabo through somebody else's eyes, and that always happens when you're hosting somebody. When you host a visitor, it's really fun because I feel like I see Cabo all over again, or see it very differently. What would be something new that you think that you've seen recently, that you've discovered even having lived here for these past 5 years?
Well, the destination is a wonderful place, and there are many things that every time that I go out, I really discover new things. I like to scuba dive, and when I go to scuba dive, and I stay here the weekends and I go to scuba dive, it's incredible the richness that you have in the Sea of Cortez, and the possibilities and experiences that you can get from sharks, turtles, whales, dolphins, sea lions, rays. So it would be very difficult to go around the world to find a place where you have that experiences right there, so rich in the ocean. So I really try to go out and explore different places to scuba, and all the places are different, all the places are amazing, and the way that you interact with the environment makes you respect more the earth and all the natural elements that you have.
I totally agree. I just went scuba diving for the first time in probably 10 years. I went just a couple weeks ago, and I forgot that feeling. You know, that feeling where you're kind of by yourself and all you can do is hear your own breath. You hear the bubbles sometimes of other people, but yeah, it's kind of an amazing change, and it really does make you realize this is our backyard.
Yeah.
I mean, we're very, very, very fortunate.
Yeah, we are.
I was going to pull this out because I thought I wanted to show you. I too have my.
So you were all prepared.
I was totally prepared. Look at here. I have my own snorkel. I have my own fins. Of course, they look like ocean blue. My own mask. You have all of your own equipment as well. Except for when I went diving this last time, I had friends who had their own dive suits. That I don't have. So, you know, I'm going to be on Amazon tonight ordering.
Buying one.
Buying one. Exactly. They're not that attractive, but they make you feel more safe.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what that is. Isn't that funny? I mean, you're completely safe down there, but it's just the feeling of being in a wetsuit. I feel like it's like those thunder jackets for dogs.
To protect. Yeah, well, and the water, if the water is cold, then it helps you to regulate.
Where do you normally like to dive?
Oh, Cabo Pulmo is the place that I truly love. Cabo Pulmo, that is, around La Ribera, around that area. I truly believe that that's the best example of sustainability and conservation.
Speaking of that, I wanted to ask you, what is your level of importance, but how do you see sustainability happening here in Los Cabos today, and then what we're doing to plan for the future?
Well, sustainability is key. If we don't keep the destination in their natural attributes, then we're going to be damaging in the medium and long run. And it's always how you want to see things. If you want to see things, the glass half full or half empty. So if you want to see things in a super bad way, you can mention that there are things happening in the way that it shouldn't. And what we need to do is how collectively we protect the environment. And there are many things that I think are playing in our favor that we need to keep it. For example, the restrictions that we have in terms of height and density in the destination are in favor. The fact
I
that
love that.
I love that too. And the fact that the properties that are coming, the developments are geared for the luxury market, that is attracting at least a different type of market that is not looking to have a super mass experience. Like the place that we're here is some place that anyone would like to be and to enjoy.
It's true. We're in Las Ventanas al Paraíso in La Butica, the speakeasy. So yes, I mean, not very many people get to experience this or can afford to experience it.
Exactly. So when you see the type of developments that are coming, they are definitely looking to protect the environment because that's a selling point. If they are bringing one of these luxury brands around the world to a place that is going to be damaged, then they know that their investment is not going to value the same, and they are not going to be attracting owners that can buy property or can stay in the hotel. So I think we are doing a good job. Definitely there are opportunities and areas that we need to improve, but I think we're doing all collectively trying to do a good job.
And what kinds of things can we do as locals in order to improve
Well, I
our
think
sustainability plan?
Well, I think that we need to, from little things, I believe that would make a big difference. If we start using less plastic, if we recycle, if even when we go to the shopping store and instead of just tearing plastic bags to put the apples, and if we get our own bags and we put the fruit in our own bags, I think that starts making a change because then people would see that we are consuming less plastic and less things. Even little things like that would make a difference. When we go to the beach and we see that there is plastic or some water bottles in the sand and we pick it up instead of letting them to go to the ocean, that little things are helping the environment a lot. Because if we all collectively do it, imagine the change that would imply. If 1,000 people go to the beach in a single day, and the 1,000 people pick up things that are there, with that would be 1,000 things less on the beach.
That's true. Even the change in straws. It sounds silly, but we're all I see restaurant after restaurant using glass straws. I've changed all mine at the house to be glass straws. I mean, it's such a little thing, but it we all are trying to do our part. What is your take on sustainability in terms of the cost of electricity here? I think that's really interesting, the solar aspect of it.
Definitely. I believe that there would be a point that in the destination we will need to switch for solar energy. And it's just not sustainable to be using fuels that would pollute indefinitely. There has to be a way that people would understand that we need to convert into more efficient energy sources, from gas to solar panels to many other options that we can do it. And that would really mean a big change in the destination, the cost.
And if you were to tell the audience one of the top reasons from a sustainability standpoint, of course, I have Mod Pod or Ocean Blue, but I also have the real estate company. What would you tell them about why it's a great purchase or investment here in terms of sustainability?
Well, I believe that sustainability is today the biggest trend in the travel and tourism industry. There would be no other single trend that is as big and as strong, and that the market is looking to maintain. People are looking to travel to places where they connect with the community, where they make a change, when they know that the communities care, that the environment is protected. And if that doesn't happen, then it's going to be very difficult. Here we have many advantages in Los Cabos. The fact that we are isolated, that you have to come by air, that we're surrounded on three sides by ocean, and on the north by the desert. The fact that it is small, we only live from tourism, we live and breathe tourism.
That's true.
We need to make sure that the conditions are such that the type of travelers continue to come. Because if we damage that, then they would stop coming and they would go to other destinations. So we need to, in all the destinations, the tourism destinations have a cycle where they start growing, people start coming, and then at some point you level in the experience, in the quality of the experience. And what has to be done there is that you innovate and you improve the product and the experience in order to keep growing. Otherwise, if you decline, then you start getting less quality of travelers and the less spending and the less benefits to the community. So what we need to keep doing is to keep innovating and getting a better experience for everyone. And I think that is what has been happening here for many years.
I see it.
Little by
I see it little by little, little by little. On that note, why don't we say, Isaac, would you like, since we're in La Boutica, you mentioned being in this very special place.
We are.
¿Qué tienes por nosotros?
Tengo una limonada.
Okay.
With strawberry.
Okay.
And soda water.
Perfecto. Okay. I'm getting a fancy limonada today. I like it. But I do love Topo Chico. I need to be sponsored by Topo Chico.
Well,
it is the best.
And the marketing that they do is super impressive.
It is. I love the bottles. Okay, let me look into the camera again. I love the bottles. I love the taste. It is the most bubbly. How would you say carbonated in español?
Carbonada, sí.
¿Carbonada?
No.
No.
No, con más gas. Con más gas.
Con más gas. Oh, that's very French too.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of French, a little birdie told me you also speak French. You speak English, Spanish.
A little bit of French. I speak better Italian than French, but I do speak a little bit of French. I have taken classes, but I don't know why I'm not that good.
Now, why French? Canada?
Well, in Canada, you need it, yes. And my wife speaks French. But no, I've since college, I've been trying to learn another language. Italian I studied, and then I wanted to go at some point to study to Italy, my master's, and then because I studied architecture, so I thought that I would like to go to Italy to start taking a master's degree. But
Wow, you studied architecture, and now you're the director of tourism in Mexico. Wanted to go to Italy to study. Salud.
Salud.
Salud. Look at how pretty they can make a limonada.
They are, and the glasses are very nice.
I love it.
You see
And the only reason I know how to drink this is because I saw somebody else drink it, and it spilled.
Yeah.
But La Boutica makes the most amazing. They can take, sparkling water and lime, basically, and make it look as fancy as possible. Don't you love that?
It's fantastic. Yeah, this place is incredible.
I love it. Now, tell me why you speak better Italian? Because you wanted to go there, so then you were studying it?
Yeah, and probably, I think it's interesting language, and I have had throughout my life good friends, Italian friends. Gianmarco is a good friend that I try to speak with him in French. He corrects me sometimes. He said, no.
Oh, in Italian?
In Italian, of course. I write him in Italian in the WhatsApp, and then he replies. And I have a couple of good friends, Italian friends in Canada as well. There is a large community of Italian in Toronto as well. So I have good friends there as well, Italian. So it's
But you like to travel, and have you been diving around the world?
Yeah, I've been diving in, Mexico, in the Caribbean, and
so many places.
Veracruz, Acapulco, and the Pacific, and here. I went once diving into Australia. That it was very nice.
Okay.
I went to a conference and stayed for a little bit more. Once in the United States, and that's it. Diving, that's it. I would definitely like to go to Maldives or to Vietnam or to other places.
Now I'm going to quiz you. So I have some pictures for you.
Okay.
And I get to cheat. I have to look and see what the answers are. And you're going to tell me where these places are. Okay. So let's start. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Always.
There we go. Let's start with this one. Show the camera.
And do you want me to tell you where is this?
Yes, I do.
Don't know.
Let me see if I can. The Great Barrier Reef.
Oh, the Great in Australia. Okay.
Yeah, in Australia. Now, have you been? Is that where you were diving when you were diving?
No, I couldn't go to the Great Reef. That would have been a little bit far from, but that's beautiful.
Isn't that beautiful?
It's beautiful. It is.
When I was there, I can't believe I didn't go.
To the
I wish
Great
I would have
Reef.
taken the opportunity to go, but I went to their zoo. Mm-hmm. That was amazing.
Yeah, Australia is an amazing country.
It is.
And it's a very good market for us.
It is. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
What would you say are some of our top inbound destinations are?
Well, US, Canada, and then Australia, and then the UK.
Why do you think Australia?
Because we're very close from the West Coast, from Los Angeles. And I think
It's the lift.
the lift and the weather, and you know, it's interesting, the tour operators, the wholesalers in Australia, they include Los Cabos as an option. So it's,
Did you do that?
we develop, we
The
you know, we
program.
develop. And you know, that's also interesting, from Australia, it's farther to go to Europe than to come to Los Cabos.
See, everyone, when you're in Australia, please come to Los Cabos instead of going to Europe.
Because how they would need to transfer in Dubai,
That's true.
or in Oman, or in Qatar, or something to go. So it's 10 hours and then another 10 hours. So in this case,
couldn't do it.
14, they get to Los Angeles, and in 2 hours you're here.
We have so many nonstops. Whenever I'm talking to somebody about how easy it is to access Los Cabos from all these destinations, I mean, even one connection is not bad, but we have a ton of nonstops.
We have many.
Like, name the top ones in your mind. I always.
Well, we
go
have
ahead.
26 cities in the United States with non-stops to Los Cabos now. We have
26.
26. We used to have just 21. Now we have 26. So.
What are the new 5?
Well, we have Sacramento, Austin, Vegas, New York. From JFK. We're having several flights, including JetBlue. That is a new carrier flying into Los Cabos. We have flights from Nashville, Tennessee. That's like, you know,
I didn't know that one.
it's a charter, but it's a flight
Still.
that you can come. So
I like it. I like the one to New York. That's excellent.
yeah, we have.
And of course, Vegas. Everybody's going to Vegas.
Everyone is going to Vegas, exactly.
All right, let me give you the next one. Are you ready? Try that one.
Okay.
I'm challenging you, but see, I'm cheating. You see this? I get to look, and you can show the camera to see if anybody at home can guess.
Don't know.
I'll
this
give you a
neither.
hint. Pyramids.
Egypt,
Uh-huh.
the Red Sea.
It is, yes. Isn't that pretty?
It is.
All
It
right.
is beautiful.
Let's try this one. That's a beautiful picture.
Then this should be Maldives or Greece.
Kind of. Thailand.
Oh, Thailand. Okay. Oh, this is. So I'm out of 3.
You're 0 for 3. All right, that's all right. That's all right. It just means you're going to have to go to these places.
I have to go.
You're going to have to go. Now, again, I'm sitting here getting to, where is this one? Getting to see where this is.
I have been to
Oh,
Australia,
yes.
but not to Egypt, neither to.
See, doesn't it make you want to go?
Yeah.
Look at that. All right, let's try this one. This is actually one of the hardest games because I always do something interactive with the guests. The last time I had an interactive, I ended up eating a whole bunch of marshmallows while I tried to say a bunch of words. So this is one of the hardest ones I've done. Think
Greece.
aloha.
Hawaii. Oh yeah, you can see the volcanic. Hawaii. Yeah, oh, that's
Yes.
fantastic.
And these are all little souvenirs, so you can go there someday. And here, let's show the camera.
Well, this is Los Cabos. If I wouldn't know this, I would get fired.
Exactly.
So
So on camera, let's just say the only important one he got right
it's Los Cabos.
is Los Cabos.
Okay.
Perfect. Cabo. You know, I've never been diving there.
In Los Cabos? In where?
In Cabo Pulmo.
Oh, you
I've
have
been-
to go. You have, it's
I,
a
that's what
beautiful place.
everybody tells me. What kind of life would I see there? Because I've been over to Espiritu.
The Isla Espíritu Santo?
I love that.
Well, Cabo Pulpo is one of the northest reef in the Americas, or is the northest reef in the Americas on the Pacific side.
Okay.
And then you have all the life that a reef might include, from rays, dolphins, moray eels. You have sharks.
Oh, I don't like the moray eels. Ugh.
You have the sharks, the bull sharks.
The bull sharks.
And there is a very large community of bull sharks. The bull sharks are very large.
Even though I tell everybody we don't have sharks here.
No, we do have sharks. in
Don't
the
remind me when I'm out there paddleboarding.
No, but they don't. They don't. We're not part of the food chain of the sharks, and the first once I was there and I was teasing one of the dive masters like why they would not eat us if we're right there, so close. And then he replied to me saying, "What do you think that a shark would prefer to eat, a sea lion or a skinny guy like you?" Of course, the sea lions.
Of course, the sea lion.
They don't. No, we were not part of.
That is so funny, and I'm sure I've been swimming with the whale sharks, which I just.
In La Paz.
I mean, in La Paz, it's to die. It's to die for. And in Magdalena, well, not swimming with the whale sharks, but went on those little pangas in Magdalena Bay. I mean, we have so many amazing things to do here in Cabo. What would be your top 5 things if you had a guest coming in that you would recommend they should do?
With the whales, I think you have to go to one of the bays to see the gray whale.
It's to die.
It's to die. I totally agree, because to have 100 whales just coming from the north and just staying in one area to reproduce and then go north and then come back to the same place with the little babies is like it's difficult to conceive that they would know and that they would have the genetic knowledge of knowing what. That would be one, definitely. The second one is go to a farm to table. That is also a unique thing that we have, that we have so prominently so many farms, and that the restaurants, the cooks have been embracing this as a trend to really innovate in the gastronomy that we offer. I think that's definitely a second one. Third, I think the downtown part of San Jose del Cabo with the galleries and the studios.
Don't you love it?
I love it.
And it's changed.
And it has changed a lot, improved
a ton. I was just there probably, I don't know, a week ago, and it had been probably a couple months, but not that long, but a few months since maybe I'd done art walk or been there at night, and it looks and feels even better and still has that same DNA and touch of San Jose.
A Mexican town.
A Mexican town. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's number 3.
You know one thing that people have to do when they come? Go to El Triunfo, to a town that it's on the Sea of Cortesay on the mountain range.
Yes.
So imagine it's a mining town since colonial times that is there, and that you can go and learn all the heritage, see the mining, the museum, the mining museum is there, and you have all the mining elements so well recreated in a traditional town of Baja California Sur. That is, I think, to die for.
Yeah.
How many places in the world you can go that have that? They have a Chinese cemetery from Chinese that came 200 years ago. And you have all the motifs and all the elements there. So I think that is something that people have to come and do it. And finally, like to really close a trip, you have to take a sunset to see the arch a sunset experience in a boat or whatever yacht you want to do is, I think that have to be.
I agree. I mean, could you imagine somebody coming here and not seeing the arches?
Exactly.
We're at Land's End. You have to come and see the arches. And I saw the other set of arches when I was diving.
Oh, okay.
So, no. In near Espiritu de Santo.
Oh, yes. That's
the other arch, and then it looks like the arch. Actually, the centerpiece of it actually looks like the Baja. I couldn't get over it. The boat pulls up really closely, and it has the backdrop of the sea. It was just gorgeous.
Yeah, the Isla Espiritu Santo is very nice.
It's so beautiful. I mean, who wouldn't want to live here? It literally is paradise.
It is.
I will never live anywhere else. Do you think you're going to move away someday?
I don't know.
Canada's not drawing. You can travel, and that's the one good thing we were talking about, all these nonstop flights, because you can live here, and then if you want to pop over to Canada or to LA, Vegas, Denver, Dallas, Houston, Austin, Atlanta, New York. It's easy. Or head over to Mexico City. I'll be going to Mexico City in a few weeks.
Oh.
Where are your favorite places around mainland to go?
I really like Oaxaca.
Did you know I haven't been yet?
Oaxaca, I really like it.
Everybody tells me to go, and not just for the chocolate.
The mezcal.
Oh, the mezcal! Is mezcal there?
Yeah,
oh my
it's
God, I thought
one
it
of
was
the
all about
places.
chocolate.
No, they produce in Teotitlán. And there are different towns around Oaxaca that they produce the mezcal, but there are super nice ones. Super sophisticated, from some plants that have to be wildly caught, that you cannot farm.
Oh my gosh.
In order to really get the nice mezcal. So it's very interesting.
Do you like mezcal?
Yeah, I like mezcal. You know, the sip one and there.
Sip here or there, yes.
It's-
Mezcal, I like a good skinny margarita, but I don't love mezcal.
No?
No.
Why? Is it because of the
You
smoky?
know, it's the smoky.
But not all of the mezcals are smoky.
I only just learned that.
No.
I only just learned that. And actually, I did a mezcal tasting right here in Las Ventanas, and they were teaching us that because I said, I don't really love the smokiness. And they said they're not all like that. And so they gave us, of course, it's Las Ventanas, so they did it, beautifully. And they had these beautiful little cups, and, we were tasting each one, and then we would taste like a cucumber after or before, and how it changed the taste of it. It was really, really interesting. Or then in the end, if they said, if you have any left, put it in your hands. Wipe your hands, and they said, do you feel anything? Like, is there any residue? And the answer was no. And you know why? Because there's no sugar added. I thought that was so interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting, yeah.
It's a very artisanal work.
It
to produce
really
the mezcal,
is.
so.
Yes, no, I have much more appreciation for it after that tasting. I liked it.
Good.
So where else? Oaxaca, I'm going to see if I've been to these places that you would recommend. Where else?
Oh, well, Chiapas is super, let's say, intense, the culture.
Yes, that's where I got this fan.
Oh,
I went there
Chiapas?
with a girlfriend.
Where? To
Chiapas.
To different parts of Chiapas?
Different parts of Chiapas and
San Cristobal is
San
beautiful.
Cristobal. I think we mostly stayed around there.
Okay.
And then we went like on these little boat tours, and we went to this area that is where they had these handcrafted jaguars. Oh my gosh. I bought 5 of them, and a huge one that I have in my office that I have a video of my little dog not knowing what it is, and so she's looking at it and barking. It's so big. But you can go there, and what's really fun is it's all these handmade types of crafts directly made there. And there's like one lady, like the one lady in all of Chiapas that makes these.
Exactly.
And you go to her and you find the one you want, and then they ship it here, and it was as easy as anything. And I loved it. I loved it, loved that trip. San
Chiapas.
Miguel.
San Miguel de Allende is beautiful. It's a beautiful
is.
town, very sophisticated, and we do a lot of promotions with San Miguel, joint promotions, where we bring media or some travel advisors, and they stay 5 days here, and then they fly to San Miguel to stay 3 days because they have the rose good here, the rose good there, and some other very nice properties. So we do it throughout the year, 2 times a year. We try to do some joint things with San Miguel. So it's a beautiful town.
How often do you get around Mexico? Is that for more leisure or for your job?
For both. With my wife and kids, we did a trip just before COVID to San Miguel de Allende. We stayed there November, like 1 week, and the kids love it. And strolling around the cobblestone streets and
It's
getting
fun,
to
isn't it?
Yeah, the sugar algodones that my kids love it, and so many interesting things. So it was beautiful. So we do it for both, for leisure, for work. There are some things that you have to go, and a city that is a super nice place that I would have to go in a few weeks is Mérida.
I haven't been, but we featured it, and it looks beautiful.
It is. Yucatan is a fantastic region.
I haven't been yet.
Really. And Tianguis is taking place there, so we will have to go for work.
Oh, you poor thing. Some people around the world, I think, don't realize the level of sophistication, culture, art, gastronomy, that we have here in Mexico, throughout Mexico. So tell me your next steps.
Well, in Los Cabos professionally, we have a couple of milestones that we need to achieve. And an interesting one would be to have more flights nonstop from other markets, such as Europe. We're working with a couple of European companies. One of them just sent us a message saying that they are very interested in flying to Los Cabos. So that is one key milestone that we need to accomplish for the destination. For this type of product, we need to have other markets. Of course, the US would continue to be our number one, but it deserves this place to be open for other markets easier. So Europe, that is going. South America, we also have been working.
I was thinking that too.
To get one. Let's see if it takes time, but with this carrier that is just saying that they will fly nonstop, it was complex because it has to be a series of things that we had to do diplomatically and also technically because it's a bigger plane, so the operation is differently, so you need to be working different ends. But I'm sure that once the Europeans and other markets start coming, then we will start having many more.
That will be interesting. Now, weren't we going to have a London flight?
We used to have one. The company that TUI was, it's going through a rough time because of COVID, so they haven't announced their date to restart it. But we're speaking with at least 3 more European companies. One of them already confirmed that they will be flying. They haven't set the date, the specific date. We're going to have the calls and so on. But I'm sure that we will have, and the type of the destination that we have with such fantastic product deserves to have somebody flying first class from cities in Europe being able to come to stay in these places. So that option is, I'm sure that is going to be open soon to the
That would
destination.
be excellent. And so additional lift, what are the other top priorities?
Well, to keep the being very relevant into the marketplace. The competition is strong. So there are interesting things that other destinations in Hawaii, the Caribbean that are doing. Even South America. There are Central and South America, there are destinations that are doing very interesting things. Costa Rica is a super nice destination.
It is.
And they have, let's say, a very strong support to promote the brand as a destination, as a country. So we need to keep being relevant, and I was mentioning sustainability, for example, and we need to pass that message to the market. So it's not easy. We need to have all the ecosystem, to build all the ecosystem for the market to find out all the information that they want to know. We need to keep promoting and offering the highest level of experiences for, if somebody's coming and staying in this type of hotel and spending $2,000 per night per room, you have to offer
the best
in terms of experience. And that is a challenge that we need to keep improving and innovating to be relevant. So we have many things to offer and to make sure that Los Cabos is the best destination in the world.
As we wrap this up today, what would you say your primary message would be to the audience about Los Cabos?
I would say that the only way to keep Los Cabos the way that it is now is if we all collectively work hand in hand with the same vision to keep it and to achieve that Los Cabos remains a safe, a naturally protected place, and that the experiences and the way that we care of our visitors and our community is at the highest level. So it's the only way is if we all work hand in hand.
That's a wonderful way to say it. With that, let's have one last toast. Thank you so much for
Thank you,
joining
Vanessa.
me today. Thank you, everyone. And we invite you to subscribe to Mod Pod with Fukunaga. And thank you again, Rodrigo.
Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias.
Thanks for listening to Mod Pod with Fukunaga. Follow the episodes on all major podcast platforms, including Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and many more.